We're going to look at it. So foul there on Indiana, on Hull there. But then that is a technical.
That is a technical. Dead ball, contact technical.
It's a little surprising to see so many of these happen in one game because...
Oh, and I don't like the way Lexie Hull...
The Indiana Fever headed to Minnesota, missing 5 key players: Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Chloe BBY, Sydney Coulson, and Ari McDonald. Despite that, Odyssey Sims pushed through her own injury to give the team a chance. But then the referees dealt a shocking blow. Lexie Hull got hit in the face with an elbow from Kayla McBride, yet the foul was called on Hull. Caitlin Clark was visibly frustrated. How does this keep happening? And if you think the injury problems are rough, wait until you see how the officiating seems to be working against the Fever's playoff push. Are the referees stacking the deck? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's dive in.
Every time a game happens in the WNBA, somebody's getting abused, somebody getting beaten, somebody is getting hurt, man. Somebody is getting hurt every game in the WNBA, and they just fail to realize this, fail to have any protocols on stopping the nonsense, man. My goodness.
Picture stepping onto the court against one of the league's toughest teams while missing more than half your roster. That's exactly what the Indiana Fever faced. Caitlin Clark has been out for over a month with a groin injury. Sophie Cunningham is done for the season with an MCL tear. Chloe BBY is dealing with a knee issue. Sydney Coulson is sidelined for the season with a torn ACL. And Ari McDonald is also out for the season due to a right foot injury. That's 5 key players unavailable. Odyssey Sims, on a hardship contract and essentially a backup several times removed from Caitlin Clark, wasn't even at full strength. Yet, with the roster so thin, she still pushed herself onto the court. Just reading through that list of absences is exhausting. Now imagine trying to compete at a professional level with a lineup so depleted.
The Indiana Fever's injury bug is getting into spooky territory. It seems like there's a new player every single day that's getting injured. Right now they have Caitlin Clark out, not sure if she will be returning this season. Sid Coulson out with a season-ending ACL tear. Ari McDonald out with a season-ending fracture in her foot. Sophie Cunningham out with a season-ending MCL tear. And then just today, before the game, they announced that Chloe Bibby would be out with a knee injury, and basically they just said it's soreness and they're just playing it safe.
This wave of injuries didn't just take away the team's star power. It completely upended Indiana's rotations. Their wing and guard depth disappeared almost overnight, forcing players like Lexie Hull and Kelsey Mitchell to shoulder an enormous burden. Just 2 nights ago, also against Minnesota, Hull logged a career-high 37 minutes and scored 23 points simply because there was no one else to step in. This isn't a luxury performance, it's pure necessity. When your team depends on players to push beyond their usual limits, every possession becomes a massive challenge. Hull can absolutely deliver these numbers on a normal night, but expecting all your starters to carry this much weight because the roster is depleted is a monumental ask.
Lexie, did you come into tonight kind of expecting to play darn near the whole game just with the injury situation and the personnel available?
Damn, you played 37 minutes.
I mean, you played a lot too, Kels. What did you play? 35. I mean, yeah, we're down people, so gotta suck it up, play a little tired a few minutes, and take in those timeouts as best we can. But yeah, I mean, we're down people, so everyone's got to do a little more.
Indiana's temporary solutions have come in the form of hardship contracts, players brought in at the last minute just to keep the team functioning. Some hadn't even had time to unpack before being thrown into the rotation. Odyssey Sims, herself dealing with injuries, was expected to help stabilize the team. Aerial Powers was another late addition, immediately taking on significant minutes without having developed any real chemistry with her teammates. All 3 were asked to fill critical roles with virtually no preparation and no rhythm, forced straight into high-pressure situations. The impact on team cohesion is brutal. Players are trying to build trust and timing on the fly, while opponents look to exploit every gap and misstep.
We've had 3 players in the last, I don't know how many days, and 2 of those players are point guards, so not really. But, you know, at the same time, our ability to make plays out of what we have, right? I think a lot of our spacing allows players to do what they do best, creates opportunities for them to be successful, and then it's just making the right reads and finding the right pass, on time, on target. And some of that is with experience with your teammates, and some of that is instinct. And so we are trying to do as much as we can to put players in position to use those instincts.
Even head coach Stephanie White acknowledged that the level of physicality Indiana faced was beyond what their depleted roster could manage. Different barely scratches the surface. Every drive and every defensive possession demanded maximum effort from a team with extremely limited depth, and yet, Kelsey Mitchell did everything possible to keep the Fever competitive. She scored 26 points, battled through constant traps and intense defense, and had moments where it seemed like she could carry the team on her own. That's truly superstar-level play. But when the rest of your offense relies on players brought in last minute to cover injuries, even the best effort from one star can only go so far.
At this rate, the Fever are going to end the season with a completely different team than what they started the season with. And even the players that they're bringing in on hardship or that they're signing midway through the season, they're now going down with injuries. The season from hell would be an understatement on this team right now.
This defeat wasn't due to a lack of effort. It was about sheer survival. The Fever showed incredible grit, refusing to back down even while being outnumbered and outmatched across the board. But as intense as the injuries were, they weren't the only challenge. That night, the referees made sure to add another layer of difficulty.
Here's Mitchell. I think that's a 2. Doesn't go. And now it's McBride getting Hull. Yeah, that one might be a problem. Indiana just taking shots to the face.
What happens when the referees end up adding to the team's struggles? That's exactly what Indiana faced. Lexie Hull, already logging massive minutes, was defending when Kayla McBride swung through. Hull took a sharp elbow to the face, went down hard, and anyone watching would have expected an obvious foul call. This was textbook flagrant contact, but instead of penalizing McBride, the officials blew the whistle on Hull. The player who got hit was treated as if she caused the contact. The arena erupted in disbelief at the call.
And Hull is checking her jaw. Let's see that one again. Kayla McBride goes up, grabs the board, and she wants to get free because Hull has her kind of wrapped, and boy, that's a hard swing. They're going to review it.
Fans and analysts hoped that a replay review would set things straight, but it only added to the confusion. After examining the footage in slow motion, the officials slightly upgraded the foul, but still stopped short of holding McBride fully accountable. It was as if they admitted something happened, yet still refused to assign responsibility, where it was clearly due. Hull took a direct hit to the face, went down in clear pain, and yet it was Indiana who ended up penalized. How is that even defensible?
Boom! Right there. Oh my goodness. Boom! Right in the face, man. Right in the face. Now, like I stated, I get it. You might be mad that Lexie put her hand on your forehead. But fam, there is no reason for you to be throwing elbows to somebody's face like that. Come on, man. Throwing elbows to the face.
Across social media, Fever fans were furious. Was this just a one-time error, or part of a growing pattern of Indiana being treated unfairly by officials? Time and again, when a Fever player takes a hard hit, whether it's a shove, a body blow, or an elbow, the call rarely goes in their favor. It's creating the impression that the league is allowing opponents to get physical as long as the team in blue and red is the one being targeted. With so many players already sidelined due to injuries, the frustration only grows. When you're already down half your roster, the last thing you need is the referees adding to the burden.
Kayla McBride, 13 points for Kayla McBride. Hit Lexie Hull with an elbow. Foul on Lexie Hull. Hits Lexie Hull with an elbow, foul on Lexie Hull. I don't understand.
Minnesota relied on a physical style all night. That alone isn't against the rules. Many teams use physicality to gain an edge. The problem arose when Indiana's efforts to respond weren't met with the same calls. Coach Stephanie White even hinted that the game was officiated differently, subtly pointing out that her team wasn't on equal footing with their opponent. Anyone watching could notice the discrepancy. drives by Fever guards went unwhistled, while even minor contact on the other end drew immediate fouls. Each inconsistent call only fueled the growing frustration among both fans and players.
This was intentional. Now, if it wasn't intentional, okay, give it a flagrant one. I understand it. She wasn't trying to do it. Cool. But this was intentional. All right? She had malice on the heart with this one. Bad intentions. Okay? She was trying to wreck some stuff up there doing this one. Hey, let's just keep it a grand, man. Let's just keep it a grand. Kayla McBride was trying to knock Lexie right on her booty cheeks, but she succeeded at, fam. Knocked her clean out. Look at this.
This wasn't simply a missed call. It felt like something bigger. To Indiana, it seemed like proof that the system was stacked against them, that officiating bias wasn't accidental but an obstacle they had to battle every night. Yet, despite the odds, the short-handed Fever refused to give in. They fought hard, leaning on unexpected heroes to keep themselves in the game.
Knocked her clean out, man. Oh my goodness. I mean, folded. Look at how her legs are folded right here. Come on, man. Knocking her clean out right here. That was bad intentions, dog. That was bad intentions. I don't care what anybody say, man. That was bad intentions, man. And the refs have to do something about it. You have to make sure that players don't feel comfortable getting out of pocket and doing things like this.
Interview 12. You might expect a team missing so many key players to fold early, but Indiana refused to do so. Instead of collapsing under the pressure of injuries and tough officiating, they fought back with everything they had. Kelsey Mitchell once again carried the scoring load, putting up 26 points and answering every Minnesota run until she simply ran out of energy. She was the offensive anchor in a game where every possession counted. Without her ability to create shots, the contest could have spiraled out of control, but she refused to let that happen. Her determination to stay aggressive and attack the rim, even when the calls weren't going their way, set the tone for the team's relentless fight.
Indiana started this game 9 of 13, but has missed 4 straight until Shea Petty.
The standout surprise was Shea Petty, who had just arrived in Indiana and was immediately asked to log major minutes. Normally, a hardship signing might take a backseat, but Petty came off the bench and scored 16 points as if she'd been part of the system all season, stepping in cold, with no rhythm or built-in chemistry, and immediately filling a key offensive role highlighted just how much the Fever needed every possible contribution. For someone signed essentially as an emergency option, she looked completely at home on the court.
Reaction looked like it was a lot more violent than that. It still gotta hurt though. The pass from Williams. Oh, Collier is blocked.
Aaliyah Boston anchored the other end of the floor. Even while being doubled, bumped, and constantly challenged, she stayed active on defense and refused to let Minnesota dominate the paint. Her relentless work on the boards provided second-chance opportunities and gave a defense, already thin across the lineup, some stability. Boston didn't need huge scoring numbers to make a difference. Her composure and toughness served as a steadying presence for a team cobbling together a lineup of short-term replacements. Lexie Hull's performance the game before also didn't go unnoticed. Dropping 23 points in 37 minutes might not seem extraordinary on paper, but when it comes from someone not normally relied on for that volume, it's a massive contribution. Hull stepping up in the midst of chaos gave Indiana crucial breathing room. Add in aerial powers, another late addition forced into meaningful minutes after Cunningham's injury, and you can see how every piece of the roster was pushed far beyond its normal role just to keep the team competitive.
Dribble. Carrington got a piece of it. Powers gets it back. Second attempt. Up and in. And she's fouled. The basket. And then she's just fighting and battling for her shot.
That's why fans can't stop speculating about what happens when Caitlin Clark finally returns. If a roster stretched thin with emergency signings can push playoff contenders to the edge, imagine what a fully healthy backcourt could do. The answer seems clear. Right now, Indiana sits 8th in the standings, clinging to every game as if it's playoff-level important. Their determination hasn't wavered, but everyone knows there's one player who could truly shift the trajectory of this team. And that's why all eyes are on the ultimate question: when will Caitlin Clark be back? There's only one player who can help pull the Fever out of this slump, and fans recently got a glimpse of her back on the practice court. Caitlin Clark arrived in Minnesota, not yet cleared to play, but finally moving with her teammates. That alone seemed to shift the team's energy. After weeks spent sidelined, even just participating in shoot-around gave everyone hope that a turning point could be near. For a roster battered by injuries and inconsistent performances, seeing her back in uniform, working with the team, felt like a lifeline.
This team needs Caitlin Clark to come back in the worst way. Not only if they want to save this, if they want to even play in mid to late September. This isn't a playoff team, what we're watching right now. This isn't a playoff team. This is a Kelsey Mitchell, please save us team. Kelsey Mitchell, we need 40 and 10, 40 points, 10 assists from you every night to be in the playoffs. We need a Herculean effort in the second half. We need Lexie Hull catching fire late in the fourth quarter and in overtime for this team to continue to stay in the playoffs.
Her return can't come soon enough. After the loss to Minnesota, the Fever sit in the 8th seed with a 19-18 record, a razor-thin one-game cushion over the Sparks, and only 7 games remain. The upcoming schedule is unforgiving. Seattle, Golden State, Chicago, and Los Angeles all await. None of these matchups will allow Indiana any margin for error, and each loss brings the real risk of falling out of the playoff picture entirely. That's the urgency the team is facing right now. The Fever simply don't have the luxury of waiting.
We got our best indication yet that Caitlin Clark is on her way back toward a return for the Indiana Fever. That's because she was seen participating in shoot-around before the Minnesota Lynx game. Now, that doesn't mean she's playing. She's still out for that game, and she hasn't returned to full practice yet, but she is back on the court with her teammates. This coming on the heels of Stephanie White saying she hopes that Clark would return to the lineup before the regular season is out, and that when you see her participating in practice, you will know she's on the way back.
The struggles without Caitlin Clark have been obvious. There's no one running the offense, no player naturally drawing defenders and opening up the floor. Kelsey Mitchell can put up big scoring nights, and Aaliyah Boston can control the paint, but neither acts as a true floor general. When Clark is out, every possession feels disjointed, as if the pieces are moving without a clear plan. That's why the hardship signings, while helpful, can only do so much. They bring energy and effort, but they can't replace the organizing force Clark provides. And fans are acutely aware of it. Every clip of her shooting in warm-ups gets dissected online. Every dribble, every move in practice is slowed down, analyzed, and shared. Even minor details, her footwork, speed, or body language, become talking points because people are desperate for any sign she'll be cleared to play. It's more than excitement. It's anxiety. The playoff race is tight. Indiana is barely ahead of Los Angeles, and without Clark, that slim cushion could vanish in just a week.
You know, so you see Caitlin Clark, this video captured by Chloe Peterson at Shoot Around. You can see Caitlin doing some work right there, just, warm-up work, back and forth on the court, but nonetheless on a basketball court. It's been a long time since we've seen Caitlin Clark on a basketball court, certainly a long time since we've seen Caitlin Clark play basketball. Then there was a little bit more footage here, and you see Caitlin involved on the floor yet again, even handling the ball, working with her teammates. I mean, that's an important sign there, to see her working with her teammates.
Caitlin Clark brings more than just scoring. She has the ability to elevate both Boston and Mitchell, create cleaner opportunities, and bring order to a lineup that has looked chaotic. No hardship signing, no patchwork roster can replicate that impact. Her return is bigger than just another player coming back from injury. It could determine whether this team competes in the postseason or watches from home. Hope is building, fans are restless, and everyone knows what's at stake. But can one player, even someone as talented as Clark, overcome all the challenges facing this team? The Fever are battling on two fronts: every opponent on the schedule and the constant hurdles of injuries and inconsistent officiating. That combination doesn't just test their physical limits, it pushes their mental toughness to the edge. You can see it in their reactions on the court and in the frustration boiling over online. The question remains, can Clark's return be enough to lift this team past injuries and refereeing inconsistencies? Regardless of the outcome, the grit and resilience Indiana has shown will be remembered, especially if it carries them into the playoffs. Don't forget to join the conversation. Do you think the referees are making things harder for the Fever? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.